Want to know what playing under pressure is all about? Try playing defense on a day like today with a couple of gunslingers named Favre and Brady locked and loaded. The Patriots and the Packers in high definition by Sony. Next.
Presenting Subway Fresh Buzz.
Welcome back to Lambeau Field in Green Bay. This is football, particularly in this stadium. The Green Bay Packers have won the toss, and they will receive. Steven Gostkowski ready to kick it away to number 34, Vernon Morency, and also deep is number 23, Noah Herron, and we're underway at Lambeau. From the 5, it's Morency. Across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. Green Bay offense means Brett Favre, Favre's favorite target, Donald Driver, 56 catches for more than 700 yards this season. And on first down, Favre will play fake and underthrow his receiver in the middle of the field, intended for the rookie Greg Jennings. The Patriots standing. 2nd and 10. Amon Green and William Henderson in the backfield with Favre. From the shotgun, out of the backfield, it's Green. And Green forced out of bounds without much gain at all at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. We'll see where the ball is placed. Roosevelt Colvin forced him out.
And this is really the situation that's coming up now, 3rd and long, that's really going to try the fact that there are 3 rookies on this offensive line. And you were looking at Troy Brown, who's going to start today. The wide receiver is actually the starting nickelback. He'll work the slot receiver. That's how banged up they are in the New England secondary, that Troy Brown, who's done it a lot before, but not normally at the beginning of a game.
3rd and 10 from the 22. Favre with time, going to go down the sideline. It is incomplete. Close to midfield. Greg Jennings was the intended receiver, and Artrell Hawkins was there with the cover.
Well, that is a classic coverage, 1 short, 1 long, and that's what a safety is supposed to do. Hawkins comes in and takes away any chance of Greg Jennings being able to bring down that football.
So John Ryan comes on to punt for Green Bay, and Kevin Falk is deep, and now we have a timeout being called by the New England Patriots. 14-13 to play, first quarter. New England gets the football after this. Patriots quarterback Tom Brady anxious to get onto the field. That timeout was forced because the Patriots had too many players on the field. Ryan's kick now to Kevin Falk from his own 28. Across the 35 to about the 37 or 38-yard line, where the rookie A.J. Hawk makes the tackle. A 50-yard kick and a 9-yard Green Bay. His offensive line includes left tackle Matt Light out of Purdue. He says the Patriots have amped it up in practice this week. The backs and receivers, and Troy Brown, a busy man today. You've already seen him on defense. He's also playing wide receiver, his usual offensive slot. Line of scrimmage, the New England 37. Corey Dillon, the lone back behind Brady as he goes to work. And this is Dillon to about the 40-yard line. The Green Bay 4-3 defense has registered 31 sacks. Aaron Campman has 10 of them from his defensive end position. The linebackers, and Packerland is abuzz over the rookie A.J. Hawk. His 90 tackles leads the team, and the young Packers have experience on the corners with Al Harris on one side and Charles Woodson on the other. Lawrence Maroney, the rookie, into the lineup for New England on 2nd and 7. Brady with time over the middle, and wide open across midfield is Kevin Falk for a Patriots first down. 13-yard pickup on the play.
Boy, and really wide open, and this is the part of the field the Patriots love to work, the middle of the field, coming out of a bunch formation. You can see that causes some confusion in the Green Bay secondary, and Falk really left all alone. Way too easy for Tom Brady to find that.
First down now, New England in Green Bay territory at the 47. Play fake to Maroney. Brady with time, down the middle, has his man inside the 15-yard line. The tight end, Ben Watson, lost the football. And he is ruled down.
Well, he recovered it. That ball ended up being recovered by Jabbar Gaffney, I believe. Again, a wide open receiver. And let's see if that ball comes out. You can see it was stripped. It looked like it might have come out before Watson touched the ground. But nonetheless, it was recovered by the Patriots. Ben Watson, and yeah, you could see a good job there of Papinga coming in and stripping the ball. And Green Bay already with their backs to the wall.
First and 10 from the 11. The give is to Corey Dillon. And Dillon bulls his way to about the 7, maybe the 6-yard line.
Greg, those are hard yards. When a guy like Corey Dillon, and that's what you love about a guy like this, that when he has to turn to power, he's not afraid to just take a few yards instead of trying to make something flashy happen. Lower your shoulder, get a surge right behind your line, and that's a nice pickup on first down this close to the goal line.
You see his numbers on the season. Dillon had 11 carries, 98 yards in the loss to the Jets. He goes to the sideline. Maroney and Falk in the backfield on 2nd and 6. Brady running out of time and now throws it away.
On the coverage.
It'll be 3rd and 6. There is a feeling of urgency for this New England team. You know, I mentioned it to Tom Brady last night. There are a lot of teams that have back-to-back losses. It's just that the Patriots haven't experienced that for a while.
Well, their bar is just raised a little higher than most teams. And quite frankly, you know, when they went to pads this week, I think Bill Belichick kind of served that on them.
3rd and 6 from the 7. Brady going to throw inside the 5 to the 1 is Troy Brown.
Ooh, decision time. Got about a yard to go on 4th down on the road. Bill Belichick, what message are you going to send to your team? Do we take 3 points and get out of here?
This is really close. Mike Carey's our referee today.
It's close to a first down.
Yeah, we're going to measure this.
Yeah, because you can still get the first down without getting into the end zone. Let's see how close this is. And there's a interesting bunch of spectators on the Green Bay sideline.
Coach Mike McCarthy in his first season here in Green Bay.
That ball is really close to getting the first down. I'd have to think that even if they don't get it on this, it's going to be so close.
That's short of a first down.
The Patriots have one heck of a conversion rate on 4th down. I believe they're 11 out of 14 on the year. That's got to factor into having some confidence in trying to convert only about 6 inches.
3 out of 3 last week in the game against the Jets, and they will go for it. Mike Vrabel, the linebacker, has come on, and he, of course, now in New England parlance is infamous for being one of Brady's favorite receivers in the red zone. Dillon and Heath Evans in the backfield. Brady going to keep it and throw this side. Touchdown. Daniel Graham, the tight end.
Well, you got all the pieces in place. You got a running back you have to respect with the power game. The fake freezes everybody, but on top of it all, you got the quarterback you trust. You got the ball in number 12's hands. You trust him to find the open guy, and in that situation, it was Daniel Graham. That's a little bit about why the Patriots are who they are.
Graham's 2nd touchdown catch of the year. Brady's 16th TD toss. Gostowski for the extra point, and it is good. 10:47 to play, first quarter. Tom Brady and the Patriots strike first. 7-0 New England. Back at Lambeau. 7th play, 63 yards. Brady went 4 for 5 for 56 of those yards, throwing to 4 different receivers.
And again, they went right after the soft spot of the Packers, and that is their pass defense. Next to last in the NFL.
And Brett Favre waiting for his shot, which comes after this kick. From the goal line, Noah Herron. Hit at the 15, eludes a tackler, doesn't quite make it to the 20. He did. Back to the 20-yard line, and Brett Favre back out for his 2nd offensive series as we come back to Lambeau after this. A story with CBS Sportsline Sunday Game Center. Follow every game with lightning fast scoring and play the hottest head-to-head trivia game on the web. Trivia Tower. It's all free at CBSSportsline.com. From the 20-yard line, Favre and the Packers go to work. Favre will fake to the far side, come to the near side, and underthrow Ahman Green. Coming out of the backfield, we have our first update of the day from New York. And JB.
Greg and Dan, you recall my guy, Chad Johnson, set a franchise record with 260 yards against San Diego last week. Up top, Carson Palmer goes to him, 41 yards on this one. They didn't show the dance, and Greg and Dan, I was going to ask you guys, I know you were a little hipper than I am, but the most important thing, 7-0 Cincinnati. Back to Greg and Dan.
JB, I'm just wondering when he became your guy. Was it after he had that breakout game last week?
Oh, Greg.
Straight ahead is Ahman Green.
You know, a lot of people have been talking about the state of Tom Brady's shoulder. You know, that's why they signed Testaverde. Watch this. I've had sore shoulders before. I never ever thought about doing something like that if my arm was really hurting me.
Not after any of your numerous touchdown passes.
No, but you don't do that if your arm's killing you. That was quite a spontaneous show of excitement there by Tom Brady. He's fired up and ready to roll.
3rd and 7. Favre going to throw it far side, has a man and overthrew Greg Jennings, the rookie. The 2nd-round pick out of Western Michigan.
Well, and Jennings was really covered well, and Brett had no chance but to try to loft the ball in a position where maybe Jennings could make some sort of a highlight reel catch. Ellis Hobbs is all over him, and look where Brett has to put the ball, and that's really not that bad of a throw. It would have taken something absolutely perfect to drop in.
Ryan's kick. Kevin Falk will return this one from his own 29. Tripped up shy of the 35-yard line. It's a 49-yard kick and just a 6-yard return. Green Bay faithful out in force as usual. You can do a lot worse than Brett against Brady.
Not every day you get 2 guys that are Hall of Fame locks going head-to-head.
Lawrence Maroney, the rookie, takes the pitch, tries the left side, and gets hit at about 38-yard line. Let's go back to that touchdown drive.
Well, it was working the middle of the field by Tom Brady and getting everybody involved. He started off with Kevin Falk. Then he goes deep to his tight end, Benjamin Watson. Even though he fumbled the ball, New England recovered. Then he goes back to his other tight end, Daniel Graham. And Tom Brady, yep, that's the way you like to start it off on the road. And the Patriots, a very, very confident team on the road, and their record reflects it.
2nd and 6. Brady out of the shotgun from the 39, and we get a whistle and a timeout, Green Bay.
Timeout, Green Bay.
So the Packers call time and stop the clock with 9:02 to play in the first, and we'll be back after this.
Certainly does, and that time that formation confused the Packers defensively. They went with 3 wide receivers, no running back in the game, and both of their tight ends were lined up in the backfield. And that apparently threw a giant curveball at the Green Bay defense, and they called a timeout.
From the 39, it's 2nd and 6. And now 5 receivers for Brady. Had movement before the snap, looked like Matt Light.
False start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
So Mike Carey fills us in, and that backs the Patriots up now to a 2nd and 11.
Offensive tackles are always trying to get that half a snap count edge on beating a defensive end upfield, and that time pretty apparent Matt Light just started rocking back and couldn't stop himself, blowing out of his stance.
This Green Bay defense has registered 31 sacks this year. Brady throws far side of the field, and that is Maroney, and Maroney wrestled out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Time for another update from New York. Let's go back and check in with JB.
All right, Greg, let's take a look here. This time, Drew Brees will hand off there to McAllister. Back to Brees, the flea flicker up top to Joe Horn. Fellas, look, 3 recovered guys around him. He still takes it to pay dirt. 72 yards, 7 all. And Greg, thanks for nudging me back to impartiality. I have no favorites. You're right. Back to Greg and Dan.
You're our favorite, JB. Meanwhile, it doesn't look like the Bengals defense has sewn up any of those holes they were sprouting a week ago.
No Cincinnati lead is safe with that group.
On 3rd and 10, Brady going to run to the 40, slides down short of the first down. Patrick Dendy coming up to hit him, but it'll bring on the punting unit.
This is something you don't see very often out of Tom Brady. When his first inclination, his last inclination is not to run. He gets hit on the left shoulder a little bit as he's sliding in there. He didn't do the classic hook slide, and that's perfectly legal.
Charles Woodson back close to his own 10-yard line for the kick. It's short and wide right, and bounces out of bounds. And Green Bay is going to have some decent field position. Time once again to take you back to the NFL today. And James Brown.
All right, Greg and Dan, capping an 11-play, 76-yard drive. Larry Johnson was on 9 of those plays, in on 9 of them for 53 yards on that score. 7-0 Kansas City. Johnson running hard there. Back to Greg and Dan.
Well, maybe that Johnson is JB's favorite. You can't ever tell these days.
I know one thing for sure. You take a look at that crowd and that sea of red. No question as to where they're playing.
You bet. Alon Green, the deep back behind Favre. First down from the 27. And this is Green, left side. And not much running room there.
It's really been an awkward start for Brett Favre throwing the football. He's been short on a couple throws. There's his first one of the game, a one-hopper. And there's another low one down to Amon Green. He can't handle it. This one, you got to give some credit to the New England pass coverage. They had pretty good coverage underneath, and Brett was forced to try to loft it. But a 1-for-5 start, certainly something he's not used to.
Not what he had in mind.
No.
2nd and 9. Junior Seau coming up right over center. Pass out here is complete to Greg Jennings, the rookie. Cuts it back inside, across midfield, into Patriots territory to the 46-yard line. First down, Packers.
And let's not forget that New England has some secondary problems of their own. Chad Scott, the guy in coverage at that time, moving back to corner. He has been starting as a safety, and it was a great blitz adjustment between Brett Favre and his rookie receiver, Greg Jennings. New England came on the blitz. Jennings broke off his route, and Brett got him the football before the blitzer could reach him.
Bill Belichick pointed out to us last night how he was watching film. Blitzing right up the middle. Favre gets the ball away so quickly, defenders can come untouched and still not get to Brett Favre in time. He has time this time. Gonna go deep. And then is incomplete. A little incidental contact down there. The fans want a flag. It's not forthcoming. Ellis Hobbs on Greg Jennings.
There was all sorts of contact. Let's see if both of them are playing the football. Ooh, that time you can see Ellis Hobbs put the arm bar out. He put the arm out in front of Jennings and should have been flagged for interference. You cannot throw that arm out like that and hit him right in the midsections. And you can midsection, and you could see where it actually interrupted Jennings running of the pattern. That's classic interference.
No call. It's 2nd and 10. Favre has the ball. Pulls it down.
What was that? It looked like it was a fake one way, and then he was turning to hand it off to someone who was a phantom. This play is going to start with a quick pump to the left. I don't know if that was a double fake. Could he possibly have been faking a pass, then faking a handoff, and then trying to find someone?
Let's just go with saying that we're sure it wasn't the way it was drawn up.
Well, that play, I know it's written on a piece of paper somewhere. It needs to go in the circular file.
3rd and 11. Favre with good protection, throws over the middle, incomplete, intended for Driver, his favorite target, but they can't connect him once again. The punting unit will come on.
Well, that was number 80 being covered by number 80. Both of them wide receivers. Troy Brown filling in as the nickel corner, working the slot receiver, really had excellent coverage that time on Donald Driver.
Troy Brown could be deep in punt coverage, but he does need a breather before he goes back on offense.
Troy Brown could drive the bus, doing everything else.
Down toward the corner of the end zone. No, straight up the middle, excuse me. And saved at the goal line. No, it's going to be a touchback. It'll come back out to the 20-yard line. We remind you, coming up tonight on 60 Minutes, Broadway Joe Namath tells the story of his life in football and the embarrassing moment on national television that changed his life forever, followed by new episodes of The Amazing Race, Cold Case, and Without a Trace. That's tonight on CBS, America's #1 network.
Now there's a guy that has a little in common with Joe Namath in terms of that personality that everyone wants to gravitate towards. And Joe Namath, one of the nicest people I have ever met in my entire life.
Couldn't agree with you more.
He is a good guy through and through, and the same for number 4.
And number 4 was all fired up yesterday morning. He was going deer hunting. It was the opening of the gun season in these parts. And
pretty big deal up here.
Oh, you bet. Pretty big deal to Brett. I know that. From the 20. Brady with lots of time. Now throws this side, complete to Richey Caldwell. Out to about the 28-yard line.
Now that was just good work by the Patriots up front. Tom had a chance to go from number 1 to number 2, and I think finally worked his way to number 3. And these guys might have come right from the fields.
Got a kick out of Donald Driver saying that, you know, Brett's been trying to get him to go hunting, and Donald says, I'm just not the hunting kind.
Well, he also made a fashion statement. Said, I don't look good in orange.
Corey Dillon. First down across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Charles Woodson there to make the tackle. Driver also said Brett's been trying to talk him into it. Well, maybe you can go on the other side of the woods and chase the deer back toward me.
That's, you know, that's an assignment I can completely understand why he said no thanks. Did he want him to wear a little pair of antlers too?
This is not the neck of the woods to wear your antler hat.
No.
Down right.
There's Donald Driver. First down from the 32.
Stay as far away from Brett as you can outside of Lambeau.
Flea flicker. Brady across the middle. Looked like he might have lost the handle on that. Caldwell was the man breaking over the middle.
Caldwell was pretty decently covered. And I think Tom might have been trying to just thread that one a little too much. And you're right, he came over the top and drove it right into the ground.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. That's the Packer rookie linebacker A.J. Hawk, who has been outstanding this season. Dillon lost the handle at the 30-yard line. Let's see if the Packers come up with it. They do.
Well, the Packers needed a break, and New England just served one up. Did Corey Dillon ever have the handle? Let's watch the exchange from Tom Brady. He never got it. The ball bounces off the right hand of Corey Dillon. He never got a chance to put that thing away. Right there, he just never gets it. And A.J. Hawk, number 50, the first Packer could hardly believe it. The ball bouncing right towards it.
Big break for Green Bay. First down at the New England 30. Straight ahead is Green for a couple. Roosevelt Colvin in on the stop. Corey Dillon with a big day in defeat last week, ripped off a 50-yarder against the New York Jets. longest run of the season for the New England Patriots, but as you said, he never had that one.
No, and it's really uncharacteristic. Nothing you'd expect to see between a very veteran quarterback like Brady and an even more veteran running back in Dillon.
Vernon Morency along with Henderson in the backfield with Favre out of the shotgun on 2nd and 9. Favre throws far side of the field, and that's complete, but not much gain there. Morency out of the backfield, Colvin with the hit.
Those are the type of completions that defense will give up all day. Only for a couple yards, the defender is right there. And again, this is such a veteran New England defense on the front seven. Yeah, they are banged up in the secondary, but this front seven is outstanding, and it has been carrying this defense all season long.
Green Bay yet to complete a 3rd down conversion. Favre going to go deep, down the sideline, incomplete. Intended for the rookie Jennings, and Scott was with it.
Again, it's very difficult for New England for Green Bay rather, to find anybody running free in this New England secondary so far. They haven't done anything that has confused this New England defense.
Dan, I'm a little surprised at the time Brett Favre is getting to throw with all the rookies on his offensive line and that very good front seven that we were just talking about.
Well, those rookies have been playing pretty well to this point.
Dave Rayner from 44 yards. No good.
And Corey Dillon, the happiest guy at Lambeau right now. Corey Dillon's fumble ends up in no Green Bay points.
You know, going back to that Green Bay experience, what did Brett Favre say yesterday? We often stop ourselves. We often stop ourselves.
Well, when you're trailing and you get a break like that, it is so disappointing to come away with no points whatsoever. And this ball just pushed all the way. Rayner never got it on target, and it was wide right by a pretty good margin. And Mike McCarthy knows you don't get this many opportunities to start a drive in that kind of plus territory, and to come out of it with zilch is very, very disappointing, especially when you know you're playing a superior football team.
On the exchange, they gained 4 yards. The fumble was at the 30. Brady starts from his own 34. The give is to Maroney.
Well, as we're moving towards the last couple of minutes of the first quarter, take a look at these possessions by the Green Bay Packers. As you can see, disappointment follows disappointment all the way down, and then they can't even muster a first down after the gift fumble and a missed field goal. So, woof.
2nd and 7 from the 37. Brady right over the middle, and hit right away is Jabbar Gaffney by number 36, Nick Collins, to New York and JB.
Hey, Greg and Dan, Michael Vick trying to bounce back from 2 poor performances and 2 losses here. Fakes a toss, drills a bullet 13 yards to Michael Jenkins. 4 plays, 38 yards, 7-0 Falcons. Hey, Greg, I'll stay safe and say back to my guys, Greg and Dan.
JB, thank you. We'll see those Baltimore Ravens next week. Tom Brady, 7 completions to 7 different receivers so far. Now looking at a 3rd and 3 from his own 41. Over the middle, complete. Troy Brown, first down across midfield and into Green Bay territory.
Boy, and right now, the New England offensive line is doing an excellent job of giving Tom Brady a good look at the field. More often than not, he's getting a good opportunity to survey his receivers. That time, he had a good 5 seconds to finally find an open guy, and even then, he could have held it longer if he so chose.
Now from the Green Bay 47. And we get movement up front.
False start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
That's Logan Mankins, the left guard. Say Bill Belichick was subdued when we spoke with him last night, Dan.
Well, he's unhappy. Losing a couple games in a row. They get off to a 6-1 start, and then you lose a couple in a row. He made the team go out in pads, full pads this week for a couple of practices, something that's out of the norm. Normally this time of year they don't do that.
Maroney on the pitch to midfield to about the 49. And with time continuing to wind down, that's very possibly a final play. Corey Dillon walking the sidelines and watching the rest of us with the clock winding down to end the first quarter. Our score 7-0 New England. We're back to Green Bay after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back to Green Bay for the start of the second quarter and part of the accepted apparel here at Lambeau Field. 109 total yards for New England in the first quarter. Maroney in the backfield. 2nd and 12. And now no one in the backfield other than Brady.
Well, Brady was in the slot and came back, exchanged positions with Maroney.
Over the middle, complete. Maroney. Maroney still on his feet and comes up short of the 40-yard line.
You got to give New England a lot of credit for ingenuity. They do some wild stuff, and that's just a good example. Tom Brady's lined up at the slot receiver. Maroney's lined up at quarterback, and then they change places.
If you've even accomplished making the defense go, what are they doing? You've accomplished something.
Well, I know one thing. The one guy that was covering Brady in the slot said, I got my man. I know that. I don't think he was afraid of getting beat on a deep post.
3rd and 3. Brady needs the 38. The give is to Falk. Kevin Falk very close to a first down. Nick Barnett with the tackle.
Let's see where they sit this.
He's short.
Yeah, he's not going to be there. Looks like almost a full yard short.
And on 4th down, Mike Vrabel, the linebacker, again appears in the offensive lineup as Belichick decides to go for it here. Packer Nation to their feet. And Heath Evans has the first down to the 35.
And I love a quick snap on a 4th and short situation. The defense is still digging in. Look at that. They haven't. Some of them are just getting to their positions. Advantage offense every time in that scenario. They get off in a unified surge, and as you can see, the defense has varying levels of getting dug in. That was really easy.
Now on 1st down. This is Maroney. To the 31, close to the 30-yard line. Cullen Jenkins, Ryan Pickett.
Number 85 there in the middle of your screen. That's Doug Gabriel, the wide receiver. Last week against the Jets, at the very bottom is the significant part. He lost the fumble after receiving the pass from Brady, and he's not been back on the field yet for the Pats.
Nor has Corey Dillon since he lost the fumble earlier in this game. Maroney to about the 27.
Last week on a really sloppy field against the New York Jets, Doug Gabriel takes this short. Hey, everything here is great. Right up to that point right there where the ball gets knocked out, the Jets recover it. And we see Gabriel, well, he came in and made the tackle. That's the last thing he's done for the Pats since. He hasn't been back in the game since last week, nor has he made an appearance this week yet.
Meanwhile, Corey Dillon has come back onto the field, and he's in on 3rd and 2 on the 10th play of this drive for the Patriots.
Dillon's doghouse obviously smaller than Gabriel's.
1st down, inside the 25 to the 23.
I think Belichick has a lot more wide receivers than he has running backs. And besides, Corey Dillon If you look at the body of work and what he's accomplished for this franchise since he came over in '04 and that trade with Cincinnati has been nothing short of outstanding. He has been, you know, he had the reputation as a troublemaker. He was unhappy in Cincinnati. His demeanor, his being a team guy in New England has been just super.
The #1 active running back in yards gained with almost 11,000 on first down. Brady gonna throw, incomplete, and a penalty marker.
Yeah, that's going to be interference.
Brady Papinga trying to cover the tight end Daniel Graham.
And the crowd is going, wait a minute, we're seeing New England defensive backs muscle up on the Green Bay receivers, and now one of our guys makes contact.
Pass interference.
Here comes the flag.
Defense number 51. As part of the foul, automatic. First down.
If you take a look at it, he's riding him all the way. You can see he's altering Graham's body. He's pushing him from behind. That was a pretty simple call for the officiating crew.
Also altered the distance from his head to the ground.
Well, these two tight ends for New England, Graham and Watson, are such threats to run way downfield. They're not the big lumbering defensive end. These two guys are quality receivers, 20 and 30 yards down the field.
Vrabel again in on offense on first and goal. Brady gonna throw to Vrabel.
Did he get that second foot down? No, I didn't think so.
Vrabel looked pretty good as a wide receiver, getting 1 foot down, but I didn't see a second one come down either.
Folks, this is a linebacker. This is a linebacker making this effort to catch the ball. Look at this. There's the left. Oh, we could see. This will show us where the right. No question about the left. Look at that catch by Mike Vrabel. Whoa! Oh, I think he taps that right toe.
Yeah, but I thought his elbow came down out behind the line
before he tapped him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Corey Dillon bulls his way in for the touchdown. So it's a moot point.
Let's look at that one more time. If his elbow's on the ground, out of bounds, before the right foot taps, then he's out of bounds. Yes, you're right.
Yep.
The elbow's down, out of bounds. What an effort, though.
We're having a player looked at on the ground. We'll check that out in a moment. Corey Dillon was the injured Patriot. He is off the field now under his own power. Gostowski in for the extra point.
He's moving his neck around like it was something, a nerve around the shoulder area.
So it's Corey Dillon who converts from a yard out. And the Patriots build their lead to 2 touchdowns. Craig Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, and the rest of our CBS Sports crew at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. 10:54 to play in the first half. 12 plays, 66 yards. Mike Vrabel just missing out on his 9th touchdown catch of his career. This is Morency from the goal line. Across the 20, and here comes a penalty flag flying from deep.
Vrabel was really wide open on that attempt at a touchdown, and it was a high pass from Tom Brady to a guy that was really all by himself.
Say it. Say it.
All right. How good of a pass did you really expect a Michigan quarterback to make to a linebacker from Ohio State, especially today? Okay.
Especially today.
Paybacks are tough.
You bet. Almost impossible at times. Here's Mike Carey.
There was no foul on the play. All of the action was legal.
All right. There's an all-encompassing
There's Mike
explanation.
By the way, while we're at it, Dan, I know all of football mourns the loss of Bo Schembechler, but I know that he was a man that was more than just your former coach. I know he was a dear, dear friend.
Yes, he was. Thank you for saying that. And we're in Big Ten country here, and I'm sure everyone here, while you weren't a Michigan fan, maybe at least you knew what he accomplished, and I hope there's a lot of respect there.
Favre to throw on first down. Out of the backfield is Henderson, and Henderson across the 25 to the 27-yard line.
Well, the Packers going to have to stretch this field a little bit. Now, 14-0. We're still 10 minutes in the second quarter. You can't, there's no need to start taking chances, but you do have to loosen this group up a little bit. The weakness of this New England defense is in the fact their secondary is banged up. If you're playing this game within 4 or 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, you're playing the game to their strength.
Pickup of 6, 2nd and 4. The give is to Green, reverses field out to the 29-yard line, and he'll be a couple of yards short of a first down. You know, these young players on the offensive line make things really unpredictable for Green Bay.
Well, the one thing they make predictable is that when they get some experience, this young Green Bay team, and it is extremely young. And there's Mark Tosher, their starting right tackle, who's got to sit this game out with a groin injury. The reality is the future for the Green Bay franchise is looking exceptionally good.
And we have a timeout on the field. 9:33 to play, second quarter. Back to Lambeau in a moment. Today only at NFL.com. 3rd and 2 for Green Bay. And the Packers looking for a little momentum spark.
And looking for their second first down of the day.
That's Noah Herron in motion. Favre going to roll right. And look, and throw, and overthrew a wide open receiver, Greg Jennings. He had him available on the sideline for a first down and just missed him.
Boy, there's no other way to put it, Brett. Just the momentum to the right affected the football. The ball just kept going to the right, the same direction Brett was going, and no chance for a completion. I know Brett's got a couple bad ankles. He strained a groin a little bit during practice on Thursday, and it has not been pretty, his throwing up to this point.
This is Kevin Falk from the 21. Sidesteps the first tackle. Penalty marker is down as Falk fights his way to the 29. This could be a block in the back against New England. Brett Favre having conversations with his coach, Mike McCarthy.
I don't think there's any question to this point in time. The ball has not been going where Brett has wanted it to go. He's been high, he's been to the side, he's been in the ground.
During the return, illegal block in the back. On the receiving team, number 30, 10-yard penalty. They retain possession. First down. Timeout.
Penalty is on Chad Scott. Brett Favre, tough day now. 4 out of 12 for just 35 yards, and wondering where this day is going to go.
CBS is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Brett Favre and his heir apparent here in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. Brady going to throw over the middle, and that's incomplete. Number 85, Doug Gabriel. We were talking about him earlier in his lack of playing time. Just saw his first snap of the day.
And there was good Green Bay pressure that time in the face of Tom Brady. I think that pressure is really the reason that was a bad throw. And a lot of pressure, by the way, falls on this Green Bay defense right now with their offense's inability to do much of anything. They got to dig in, force a New England punt.
Brady gives to Maroney. Maroney tries the left side and is not going to be able to turn the corner. Run out of bounds by Charles Woodson, the cornerback.
And Charles Woodson has to rearrange his helmet after that stiff arm by Maroney. This is a really good job by Woodson of coming up in corner support, but he's going to take right there. He gets that helmet pushed off to the side. Lawrence Maroney has really exceeded expectations, and I know he's a #1 draft choice, but his ability to act like a veteran in terms of picking up blitzes, the nuances of the passing game, has been a really pleasant surprise to New England.
Big third down here for the Green Bay Packers on defense. We get flags. And it's going to be offsides against Green Bay.
On infraction. Defense, number 75, jumped into the neutral zone, causing an immediate reaction by the offensive team. It's number 74, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That's Aaron Campman.
Aaron Campman, an extremely quick defensive end, and you can see it was his movement that forced the kind of quiver on the other side of the ball. If you're in the neutral zone, that time Daniel Graham, the tight end, gave it the quiver. But if you're in the neutral zone, you caused it. The penalty's on you.
So instead of 3rd and 8, it's now 3rd and 3 for Brady and the Patriots. He has time, throws in the flat, and that's first down yardage for Maroney. Got his shoulders squared up and bulled his way for a first down.
Somebody from Green Bay is still on the ground.
That's Cullen Jenkins, number 77. He's up now.
And I think Jenkins was the guy that was attempting to make the tackle. Take a look at it right there. Baja Biamila gets to the outside, and that is Jenkins actually who makes the hit, but too late on Lawrence Maroney.
And Jenkins now comes to the sideline. Maroney again in the backfield. First down now from the 24. And here comes big number 99, Corey Williams, up the middle.
Well, the Patriots are pointing to Williams, but I thought I saw a flinch on the Patriots offensive line.
Ball start. Offense number 68.
Yeah, I thought I saw somebody.
Still first.
Tom Brady going through his cadence. Yeah, and you can see right there, Ryan O'Callahan, number 68, the right tackle, rocked forward. But Tom Brady, that hard count he's doing and that change up in cadence is getting everybody going. That time he got one of his own.
The 3rd false start against New England. 1st and 15. Brady to a wide open Troy Brown to the 24. That'll be a 5-yard gain. And Brady, really a perfect example of a quarterback taking what he's given at this point.
Well, that's the maturity. And of course, Tom's 29 years old and winning a lot of Super Bowls and that kind of stuff. He realizes that, hey, we've got the lead. I'll take my shots when the time comes, but he'll be more than happy to just pick away 5, 6 yards at a time.
This is Maroney. Oh, hit hard at the 25-yard line and just across the 25, but Nick Collins coming up from the safety position with first contact.
Well, that's the kind of a hit you want your safety to deliver. Trying to run it right off right tackle and sitting right in the hole is Collins, who wins the leverage battle. He gets underneath Maroney. He got the pad level underneath Lawrence, lifted him, and made him come to a complete stop. You don't see that all the time.
Last time the Patriots faced a 3rd and 8, they got an offsides call.
Here comes the blitz.
Brady steps up, throws, tipped it incomplete. Number 31, Al Harris, got a hand on it before it reached Rashae Caldwell.
Boy, normally when you see a blitz that's unsuccessful, you'll see somebody running open downfield. But in this case, the Packers held coverage. Al Harris knows it's a crossing pattern. You can see him all the way. He had safety over the top with Collins and totally bracketed. That is outstanding work by the Packers because the blitz did not get there.
Hallelujah for a DB who turns around and looks for the football.
A lost start.
This punt is going to come up short of Woodson and going to roll dead at about the 37 or 38-yard line of the Packers. Pretty good field position coming up for Brett Favre. 5:46 to play in the first half.
These guys back by putting together a drive.
Go. On first down, they give us to Amon Green. Green going nowhere against that front. Vince Wilfork, the first guy to hit him.
Well, it has been a rocky game so far for Brett. That pass well out in front of his intended receiver. This one too long. There's been a couple of them thrown into the dirt. This one was thrown out of bounds to where Jennings had no, and we're all kind of wondering, Brett. I know that wasn't the intent, but it is certainly what's happening to this point. 4 out of 12, completing only a third of his passes.
2nd and 9. Favre going to roll it this way, and look, And overthrows his intended receiver.
And right now, this has got to become a concern for Mike McCarthy. It's not like you're going to give Brett the hook, but is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with his, everyone, up here knows Brett's got a couple of ankles that are being a little balky, causing him some pain and concern with some bone spurs. And then Thursday in practice, he did, to what extent, nobody knows, injure a groin. McCarthy said he's fine. It's not that big a deal. But right now, 4 out of 13 is becoming a big deal.
He has missed the rookie Jennings on a number of occasions. Now looking at a 3rd and 9. Favre has time, wide open, and missed him. David Martin, the tight end, was wide open at the 30-yard line, and Brett missed him too.
And I can't imagine how frustrated Brett Favre is right now. Out of the cluster, this is exactly what you want to have happen. Finding a hole in that New England zone, and just no chance of a completion, overthrown severely. And this right now is a major concern for Green Bay. Brett's inability to throw a good ball.
John Ryan kicks it away, and it takes a Patriot bounce at about the 25 up to about the 27-yard line. So Favre wandering the sidelines, looking for answers within himself.
Well, he's going to talk to some of his receivers. And again, it has been a rejuvenated Brett Favre that we've seen the last couple weeks going into the Metrodome. A big win last week. The exuberance, picking up Donald Driver, carrying him around. It made everybody feel so great to see Brett having fun again, having the kind of, one thing we know for sure, he is not having fun right now. That kind of performance, that's eating away at him.
Just last week, he racked up a season-high 347 yards against Minnesota. This is his 231st consecutive start. Now Brady in the Patriot offense on 1st down from the 29. And Brady will throw. Steps up, nowhere to go, and down at the 23. And now we have a marker down at the 40-yard line. This could be against Al Harris and the Packers.
Holding, defense number 31 on an eligible receiver. 5-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
Well, that might explain one of the reasons why Tom Brady was having difficulty finding somebody
who wasn't being held.
Yes, because a lot of the Packers were in on a blitz. That was a sellout blitz by the Green Bay defense. Bob Sanders, their defensive coordinator, bringing everybody. And it just backfires on you when you get that automatic 1st down penalty.
1st down at the 34 for the Patriots. Maroney. Easy. Squeezes through. Close to the 39. A.J. Hawk, the rookie. It was fun talking with Brady last night, and then earlier in the day with A.J. Hawk, the rookie out of Ohio State. These guys, their attention, fully focused on this game, but always in the back of their mind, Michigan, Ohio State.
Well, A.J. Hawk could not
and yours too, I might add.
Yeah, no question. A.J. Hawk could not have had a better career at Ohio State. He's such a fabulous combination of speed. This guy can really rock it, but he's also 245 pounds, and this guy is not playing like a rookie at all. He's got veteran qualities already.
Quick pass to the near side, and that's complete to Watson, and Watson out of bounds across the 40 at the 42. That'll put him about a yard or two shy of a 1st down.
And when in Rome, I guess they think they're blending in. All the way from New England, we got their version of the cheesehead, and I guess that's paying homage to
something of a conciliatory gesture.
That's
yes.
paying homage to a great tradition.
3rd and 2. Maroney trying the left side, has a 1st down across the 45 to the 46. So the Patriots move the chains. And Brady taking a walk over to the far sideline to get a little clarification, and now he's on his way back.
keep in mind here as New England tries to score before the end of the first half that they don't have their full complement of timeouts left.
New England has one and Green Bay has two.
They've had to burn a couple.
Brady play fakes to Maroney this time. Steps up, throws deep, wide open is Riche Caldwell for the touchdown.
I would say right now that having one timeout left, not a major concern for New England. Tom Brady, after being so patient, pounding away with Maroney and Dillon, goes to the play action. And finds Caldwell all by himself. And we talked earlier on about the middle of the field attacking the safety position was what they were going to do against the Green Bay Packers. And once again, they find a guy in the middle of the field all by himself.
Gostowski's kick is good. Riche Caldwell's third touchdown catch of the year is New England's longest passing play of the season. 54 yards. It's a 3-touchdown lead for New England with 2:22 to play in the half. Brady's second touchdown pass of the day. And Brett Favre just looking to get something going. Gostowski's kick is to the 2, and this is Morency. To about the 24-yard line. Let's go back to a wide open touchdown.
Well, it's just a great move right here. Right here is Caldwell, and as he goes down, this guy right here is the safety, Marquand Manuel, and watch the move right here, the Caldwell. Right there, he splits it to the, like he's going to run a corner, comes back to the post, and he makes Manuel do a complete 360. He spins him all the way around, takes him utterly out of the play. And again, the middle of the field, a real bugaboo area for the Pack.
Troy Brown is in the secondary for New England. And this is to Amon Green, and this is going nowhere. Richard Seymour all over the ball carrier as we wind our way to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play in Green Bay. 21-0 New England. While you look upon Rudolph the Cable Reindeer, we'll remind you coming up the Sprint halftime report. JV, Dan Shannon, and Boomer have all the latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Sprint halftime report.
Well, this crowd has been patient so far. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to last.
2nd and 13 from 22. Favre with time, throws, and that's complete across the 35. A marker is down, and Donald Driver's off to the races. Out of bounds just inside the 40-yard line of New England. Now let's check the flag.
Yeah, you can see the marker come into your picture after Driver caught the ball. You can see the one official saying it's holding.
Before the pass. Holding. Defense number 80 is declined. Play results in a first down.
That's on Troy Brown.
Well, finally, the Packers, who before that play had 39 yards of offense, finally come up with a big play. Right there's the hold. Number 80, Troy Brown. He really grabbed a hold of Driver. And, of course, Driver, kind of a strong guy at 195 pounds. Troy Brown fighting an uphill battle there.
See that last play for 38 yards, eclipsing all that Favre had thrown for thus far.
Well, they doubled their offense.
Favre running out of time and goes down midfield.
Ooh, did he get caught awkwardly around the legs. That was really, you could see Brett got caught on the lower. And now it looks like he's almost his right arm. Something's wrong with his right elbow.
And we're going to have a timeout here with 1:41 to play. Tully Banta-Cain along with Teddy Bruschi were in on the sack.
You could see that Brett had someone, was that Banta-Cain down around his ankles, and he was in a hard, a very difficult position trying to defend himself.
And you saw Aaron Rodgers getting a helmet on and getting loosened up as we take another look.
Okay, now Brett has time, but he can't find anybody. But right here, he can't get away from it. Oh, and he kind of lands on his right shoulder. But Bantakane has both of his legs wrapped up. And right, you got to wonder if right there when he landed after Teddy Bruschi drove him to the ground.
And number 4 is going to come off the field.
Keep in mind, folks, you're looking at one of the true Iron Men and one of the toughest guys that's ever walked on a football field at any level.
We mentioned a little earlier, this is 231st consecutive start. He stands 11 touchdown passes shy of Dan Marino's all-time mark of 420 career touchdown passes. And Aaron Rodgers comes onto the field.
Well, those are his career numbers for the season. Aaron Rodgers has attempted only 3 passes this year and completed 2 of them.
And the ball is at midfield. Rodgers is looking at a 2nd and 20 from the 50-yard line. We were talking with Mike McCarthy yesterday about Aaron Rodgers, and does he see Rodgers as the kind of quarterback that can step in when Brett Favre decides to step aside? And he said absolutely. He has the talent, he has the ability.
Well, and he certainly, all of last year, his rookie year, he's had a chance to study at the feet of the master. Certainly getting to watch Brett Favre work every day, talk to him about why do you go this direction? But it was all talk before, now it's play.
And he'll come out throwing here. 2nd and 20, they're going to blitz him. Rodgers throws far side, incomplete. Intended for Ruvel Martin.
Let's go back and revisit the play where Brett Favre, does he hit his hand? Let's see if, let's take a look at it right here. This is, you know, right there now. He's caught down around the lower legs. Let's really focus on the right arm. I can't see nothing happens other than when he gets driven into the ground. But right, he almost looks like he's grabbing his wrist a little bit.
On 3rd and 20, Rodgers throws, incomplete. And that'll bring the punting unit on with 1:32 to play in the first half. And Favre still being looked at on the sideline.
John Ryan will punt for the Patriots. Kevin Falk for the Patriots.
Kevin Falk deep for the kick, coming from John Ryan. And fair catch called for by Falk, and he muffed it and covered it back at the 15.
Yeah, there's an opportunity wasted by the Packers by not having anybody close to Falk when he muffs that punt. It's pretty apparent that Brett Favre is having difficulty getting his right hand to work properly. And one minute he's looking at the forearm, the hand, the wrist.
Well, that'll be a pretty interesting halftime conversation. See how Brett Favre feels before coming out here in the second half.
1st and 10 from the 16.
Well, you were right, Dan. You talked about doing one of the true Iron Men in this league.
If ever the Patriots are just going to kneel on the ball and run out the first half. If ever there was just tape it up, coach, and put me back in guy, it's Brett Favre. You certainly don't want to do anything foolish to jeopardize your health, but we will try to get a report from the Packers as quickly as we can as to specifically what it is.
And should Favre not be able to continue, then the pressure falls to 2nd-year quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
And when you say the pressure falls, it's tough enough replacing Brett Favre if the ball game was even, much less being down to the Patriots 21-0.
And with that kneel down, that'll do it for the first half. Brett Favre gets the ride to the locker room. Packer Nation holds its collective breath And meanwhile, Green Bay Packers will try to regroup because they're on the short end of a 21-0 game here at Lambeau Field. The word early is that it's his elbow, his throwing elbow, and that his return is questionable, but you know that'll be analyzed and dissected at halftime. It's the end of the first half, 21-0 New England. Sprint halftime report is after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Hey everyone, along with Dan Deerdorf, I'm Greg Gumbel. 21-0 Patriots in the lead. Two stories to this game. One is the complete and total dominance of the Green Bay Packers by New England. The other is the status of Brett Favre. Let's first talk about this game, Dan.
Well, it's like a heavyweight fighter. The bigger, stronger guy leans on the lighter guy, and eventually it takes a toll. Tom Brady couldn't have started this game any better. Just throwing the football all over the place. A touchdown pass to Grant. Then he comes back, and it's converting a couple different fourth downs. One for a touchdown. But then this ends up being the story. Brett Favre, his team already trailing 21-0, goes down in a sack. And right now, we're not sure where it goes from here. We know he's been replaced by Aaron Rodgers, Greg.
And the status when Favre went into the locker room is that he had an elbow injury. Now, as to what's happened in the locker room in the meantime, we don't know and probably won't know until the Packers take the field again. But we've seen it before where backup quarterbacks have been unexpectedly called on. Some perform well, some don't.
Well, the reality was the Green Bay offense could get nothing going at all in the first half. Brett was really not throwing the ball well at all. I am not in any way insinuating that this is a good thing, but maybe there'll be a little spark here. Maybe something could happen. Although in my mind, I don't know how anything other than Brett Favre could be good for your club. And we are told right now that as the teams warm up for the second half, Brett Favre has not yet reappeared from the locker room. You saw Aaron Rodgers throwing on the sideline. Brett Favre is inside working on his throwing motion and apparently still trying to figure out whether or not he's going to be able to perform here in the second half. Second half is now underway, and you know these Packer fans are all holding their breath and wondering whether or not they are going to see their favorite player again today. Well, they're holding their breath now. In the first half, most of the half, they were scratching their head, wondering how could Brett be all over the stadium like he was throwing the ball. He was high, low, outside, just about every conceivable way.
How's this for a first half number, Dan? The Packers had 5 pass completions and punted 6 times.
Yeah, it just unacceptable, and again, put their defense on the field way too much, and the Patriots took advantage.
First down from the 29, and Brady gives to Maroney. Corey Dillon had suffered an injury in the first half and has not seen that much action. And Maroney's been doing the lion's share of the work out of the backfield.
Yeah, Corey Dillon scored a touchdown from a yard out and took a blow to the head and shoulder region, and that's where he got hurt on the touchdown run.
Double tight end now.
Good news there. Dillon's got his chin strap buttoned up. That's always a sign that a guy's getting ready to, at least he wants to come back in.
Brady, good protection. Throws over the middle, incomplete, intended for Jabbar Gaffney. We were inquiring of Tom Brady as to his health, and he says, you know, a lot of guys get muscle injuries, and he said, I have no muscle to injure.
He said, pull a hamstring? I don't have a hamstring. He actually referred to himself as Gumby. He said, you know, when they hit me back there, I'm just able to bend in all sorts of different directions. Knock on wood. I hope he's right, but he's got a great sense of humor about it.
Brady looks at a 3rd and 6. Over the middle, complete, Caldwell, and Caldwell to the 40-yard line and appears to have enough for the first down. And here comes Brett Favre. And the fans down at that end of the field cheering and rising to their feet.
Well, they love him like no other, and justifiably so.
Meanwhile, first down for New England from their own 40-yard line. Maroney to the 45, maybe the 46-yard line.
And you just get the sense right now that we're going to see that over the years what has made the Patriots, and that is this is a team without a whole lot of mercy. This is a team that can be relentless, and they're, again, we're seeing it 5 yards at a time, just pounding away, moving the chains, eating up the clock, and coming at you down the field.
20. Easy, 130. Back, reload.
Brady barking out all kinds of names and numbers. And Maroney left side, first down, turns the corner to about the Green Bay 40, and another first down.
Oh, and Nick Collins saved an even bigger play because Maroney was trying to keep him going out of bounds. But look at the hole. I mean, just take a look at that hole. Even the wide receivers are in there. Gaffney making a block, but right there it's the tackle I'm talking about from Collins.
Brett Favre throwing on the sideline. Meanwhile, I'm going to ask our viewers to remember that run that Lawrence Maroney just made, because it looks amazingly like a run he made back in high school. Maroney in the back behind Brady on first down. Play fake. And Brady throws incomplete.
And are we talking about, you mean when he was at Normandy High School in St. Louis, Missouri? Check it out. Here he comes, Lawrence Maroney.
And there he goes.
Yep.
And then I think he'll cut back to the inside here momentarily.
And he ran all the way to Minneapolis to play for the Golden Gophers after Illinois stopped recruiting him where he thought he was going to go. Then he told us, I just wanted to go someplace that played Illinois. He wanted to get a little revenge.
Corey Dillon is now back into the game, and he takes the handoff. Hit at the 40, bulls his way forward. Cullen Jenkins made first contact.
Well, that is really a good sign that Brett Favre is starting to warm up, because the thing you fear the most is they go in there, you know, get some x-rays or something like that, and if there's some sort of a crack, well, there's Logan Mankins, the left guard of the Patriots. So at least Tom throwing, that's somewhat of a good sign.
11:54 to play in the third quarter. We'll step aside for a moment. Needs the 30-yard line for a first down. Russ Holstein in for the injured Mankins. Brady hit as he let it go, and that pass is incomplete down the sideline. Intended for Jabbar Gaffney, and Patrick Dendy was covering.
And this time the Green Bay pressure got to Tom Brady. It's going to be coming around from the backside. You can see Baja Biamila coming in from behind, and then right in the face, Jenkins gets a hit on him. Tom tries to go to single coverage, but just really, really good coverage downfield by Dendy.
So Josh Miller to kick it away. Charles Woodson back at his own 10-yard line.
And who's going to come out for quarterback for Green Bay?
Fair catch called for, and Woodson makes it at the 10. And let's check the sideline. Brett Favre getting his arm rubbed, and Aaron Rodgers is going to at least start this series at quarterback. But you know, Brett Favre doesn't look like he's done for the day.
Well, I don't think anybody needs me to tell them that if he possibly can in any way, he will. I'm sure Brett is trying to keep in mind he doesn't want to compromise his team, but down 21-0, Rodgers he's got a full plate in front of him.
Rodgers 0 for 2 throwing the ball so far. Rolling right, looking and throwing, and has his first completion across the 25 to the 27 to Donald Lee, the tight end.
Well, smart call by Jeff Jagodzinski, the offensive coordinator for Green Bay. Put Rodgers on the move. Buy him a lot of extra time. Let him get out there. He really, really operates well on the move, and that gave one of his receivers a chance to get open. He's finally able to find Donald Lee, but that's smart. Put him on the move like that. Get out of that pocket.
His first completion good for 16 yards. First down now from the 26, and the give is to Ahman Green. And Green going nowhere against the right side of that line. Ty Warren standing him up and making the stop. A lot of talent in that front three of the New England Patriots. A lot of early round draft choices.
Oh, you think? Why? Because they're all in the first round?
Second and 10 from the 26. You saw by numbers the futility that the Packers are feeling today. Rodgers dodges the rush, throws complete, and across the 30 is Bubba Franks with his first reception of the day.
Well, it appears to be, at least to this point, Aaron Rodgers' comfort zone. Drifting out there to the right side. He's going to have to change it up, though, and we'll see sooner or later, see if he can do it to his left. This Green Bay offense has just been so stagnant, and their inability to rush the football is putting an inordinate amount of pressure on the passing game.
You know, sooner or later that New England defense is going to put the youngster to a test, too. Rodgers on the move again and throws incomplete.
Well, that one wasn't by design. That one was because his pocket completely disintegrated, and only a four-man rush by the Patriots, and they won their battles up front. Nothing exotic here. It's just the four-man rush and a breakdown up front. And Jarvis Green forces Rodgers to run for his life.
That's Kevin Falk back at his own 30-yard line. And John Ryan, who's been doing a lot of this today, kicks it away end over end and takes a Green Bay bounce inside the 25 to the 22. 9:10 to play, third quarter. New England still holding on to a 21-point lead. What's taken place so far, 21-0 New England. The Patriots with the ball at their own 22. The give is to Corey Dillon. And Dillon may have gotten a yard.
Well, for those of you that weren't with us in the first half, it was towards the end of the first half that Brett Favre went down awkwardly on a sack. You can see he's wrapped up and unable to break his fall. As he goes down, he lands on his right shoulder and his right arm, and he injures his right elbow. But you can see that it's causing some sort of a disturbance all the way down towards the wrist and the hand, and Brett Favre has not been able to come back. Aaron Rodgers has replaced him, and as you saw by that graphic, before he got hurt, Brett was having a really difficult day passing.
On 2nd and 9, this is Dillon, and Dillon crosses the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Marquand Manuel up from his safety position after a gain of 4.
And Green Bay has just been putting their defense out on the field, their inability to do anything offensively, and it hasn't, you know, by and large, they haven't played all that poorly, but they've given up a couple big plays. They're really attacking New England on the running game. They're hitting hard. They're trying, but with getting no help from their offense, this Patriot team, which is superior to begin with, is just wearing them down.
And now 3rd and 5, Brady out of the shotgun. Here comes the blitz in the backfield, incomplete. Maroney off his hands. It'll be 4th down.
Now Maroney was looking downfield trying to figure out what was going to be the first move I was going to put on after I catch it, and he forgot the first step is to catch it.
In recapping, Dan, the Packers situation today, in all honesty, they had their opportunities and their offensive chances, and it was Favre who was misfiring in the first half.
Maybe they get a special teams lift.
From the 40, it's Woodson. And he didn't get very far.
And I think that's Charles Woodson's helmet, is it not?
Mike McCarthy will say better the helmet than the football. Corey Mays with the hit. Coming back to Green Bay after this. But today, the Jets are trailing Chicago, Buffalo, and Miami, the other wannabes in the AFC East, also in action, but not in the picture right now. That pass almost intercepted by Teddy Bruschi, and he had nothing but clear sailing ahead of him.
Boy, this is nothing more than Aaron Rodgers taking the snap, coming right up and throwing it. 1, 2, 3, quick release, and a perfect strike to Ted Bruschi, who rarely blows a big opportunity like that.
Teddy Bruschi had 2 interception returns for touchdowns back in 02 and then 2 more in the 03 season.
A big place just follow Bruschi around, and that was one of the easier ones.
Rodgers throws, and that one just short of midfield to Donald Driver, who makes the diving grab at about the 48-yard line.
Pretty good effort by Donald Driver right here, just making a square out and headed to the sideline.
And once again, 80 on 80.
Yep, take a look at that. Anytime you're in the slot, you're going to draw the coverage from number 80, Troy Brown, the wide receiver who's having to play in the defensive backfield. But again, the reality was nice completion, great effort for very few yards.
3rd and 6. Rodgers going to have time and is going to tuck it in and run, and he's out of bounds at the 45, and that's enough for a first down.
Well, heads up play by Aaron Rodgers, but let's check in on the coverage. Check this press coverage. Troy Brown working on Donald Driver. He's, you know, bumping him, getting his hand. Driver's trying to screen himself, and finally Donald Driver decides, I'm no longer a receiver, I'll become a blocker, and he screens him off. But this guy, how can he do any more for his club?
What a testament to his ability, Dan, to be able to play defense when needed at this level.
How admirable is that?
Rodgers,
the ultimate team player.
On first down, runs out of time. Ty Warren and Mike Vrabel were in on Rodgers.
Well, there's Mike Vrabel. He's going to be number 50. They're clear at the top. And when Aaron Rodgers tries to go, he's met by the 2 of them right there. Just a complete pocket breakdown. And Mike McCarthy trying to figure out, I'm not sure what to call. I'm not sure what, you know, a big chunk of it goes out the window when Brett Favre goes to the sideline. Now you've got to try to get the plays that Rodgers can execute.
2nd and 16. Rodgers on the move, going to turn the corner and run to midfield, diving forward to the 46. Vrabel again in on the play.
Well, the only good news about Aaron Rodgers is that it's at home when he has to come into a situation like this, replacing the injured Brett Favre. The really bad news is he's trying to do this against one of the more complicated and complex defensive schemes in the National Football League.
As you mentioned earlier, injury riddled in the secondary, but that front 7 so talented it makes up for a lot. From the shotgun, Rodgers throws in the flat to Morency. Morency breaks free to the 40-yard line, but that'll be about 5 yards shy of a first down.
Well, Aaron Rodgers looking to the sideline saying, do you want us to go for it on 4th and about 5?
And no one is coming out from the field goal unit.
You got to go for it. Why not?
Be a pretty hefty kick from this distance anyway.
Well, the change in field position, it's too far for a field goal. And the reality is the change of field position on a punt might be, what, 15 or 20 yards? Unless you got lucky and pinned them inside. Why not? Down 21-0.
This 6-play drive, the longest of the day for the Packers, who are looking at a 4th and 5. Throwing on the sideline, that is incomplete behind the intended receiver, Ruvell Martin. Chad Scott on the coverage. Ball goes over on downs. 4:08 to play in the 3rd.
It connects with you and the road. The all-new turbocharged Acura RDX with super handling all-wheel drive. Acura. Advance.
Boy, is my cholesterol out of whack. The doctor says, with my medical history, my bad cholesterol needs to be lowered, and he wants my good cholesterol up. So he put me on Crestor. Crestor, along with diet, can lower the bad cholesterol. It can also raise the good. Crestor helps get my cholesterol in line with what my doctor wants. That's more like it. Is Crestor right for you? Well, ask your doctor. Mine said Crestor isn't for everyone, like people with liver disease or women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. And simple blood tests can check for liver problems. He also said to tell him about other medicines I'm taking, or if I have muscle pain or weakness. That could be a sign of serious side effects. Down with the bad, up with the good. How's your cholesterol? Crestor helps get your cholesterol right.
Porter and Brady, and the Patriots on the attack. Brady with time, throws. Oh, what a pass to the 40-yard line. Chad Jackson right on the money, a first down.
Well, having success playing an NFC opponent, something not new to Tom Brady in the last couple of years. Take a look at his numbers. 16 touchdowns against only 3 interceptions in his 4 wins out of 5 games and a rating of over 109. Tom must look at the schedule and circle when we're playing somebody from the other conference. And
this is Maroney. There's not much there. That previous play, Chad Jackson made the 8th different receiver that Brady is connected with today, and that's become a hallmark of the New England offense.
well, this offense has got a lot of balance to it, and I think every week that goes by there just seems to be a little more familiarity with Tom and his wide receiver core. Looking at guys there, Chad Jackson, and even Troy Brown. He's everywhere.
Brady throws underneath, and that's complete to Ben Watson. And Watson inside the 25. We get an NFL Today update from JB in New York.
Hey, Greg and Dan, take a look here. After a 59-yard punt return by B.J. Sams, Jamal Lewis untouched 2 yards to pay dirt. That capped a 7-play, 17-yard drive. 10-7 Baltimore on top of the Falcons. Back to Greg and Dan.
All right, JB. See how the Ravens have done in tight games. We will be in Baltimore a week from today as the Ravens take on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, they have a lot of experience playing tight games. Hard to score on them.
Brady throws, and that is complete. How was that completed? Inside the 20-yard line to Troy Brown. To JB once again.
Hey, Greg, ask Dan if they put silicone on uniforms back in this day, because I'm telling you, Travis Henry must have it here up the gut. Touched, but they slip and slide. 70 yards to pay dirt. A career long for Travis Henry. He's got 13 carries for 133 yards and a touchdown. They're on top of Philly. Back to Greg and Dan.
Players didn't do that in your day, did they, Dan?
Yes, they did. Is Jeff Fisher a coach?
Inside the 10. Look at the bowling. Lawrence Maroney all the way to the 8-yard line.
And again, it's just the Patriots just leaning on the Packers, just exerting their will, and it's nothing fancy. It's just physical football. And this Packer defense, which has gotten 0 help from their offense, just starting to yield yardage in some pretty good chunks. And I don't know that Mike, if he's got an answer for this.
15 rushing yards for Green Bay all day. First and goal now, New England from the 8. Brady will throw for it. Has time. Corner of the end zone. Diving catch for the touchdown.
Oh, what a throw by Tom Brady to Watson. Are you kidding me? What a strike from Tom Brady. It starts with the fact that he's got all sorts of time to square up and look at a perfect pass. Was that ball being juggled by Ben Watson as he went out of bounds?
Watson with the diving catch.
This is going to give us a look. He's got to put it securely away. There was a little bobble there on his way down.
But nothing yet from the Packer sideline in the way of a challenge. And it doesn't appear one's forthcoming.
What a beautiful throw from Tom Brady. Absolutely perfect.
Gostowski's kick is perfect. And with 43 seconds to play in the third quarter, the Patriots have extended their lead to 28-0. Quarter, and you mentioned it earlier in the day, Dan, that 2 consecutive losses by the New England Patriots, and people kind of thought they might have been 3-6 instead of 6-3 because such things just aren't expected. 2 yards deep in the end zone, Vernon Morency, 15, 20, and forward to about the 24, maybe the 25-yard line.
Well, it was such a good week for Brett and the Packers last week. In a place where they just never played well at the Metrodome. There's Brett Favre after a long touchdown pass to Donald Driver. Carries Driver, and unfortunately for Brett, it's now a cart carrying him into the locker room at right before half. And for those of you who haven't been with us, Brett has been out of this game so far in the second half with an injury to his elbow on his throwing arm, his right arm.
From the 24-yard line, Rodgers hands to Ahman Green, and Green out across the 30. It'll be marked at the 30-yard line. Teddy Bruschi with the tackle.
And that's a
Green is the lone back again, and he gets the ball on 2nd and 4, and he pulls his way to within a yard of a first down, and that'll wrap the third quarter. 28-0 New England. Back to Green Bay after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Aaron Rodgers on 3rd and 1 spreads the field. And we get a whistle and a timeout. Patriots call timeout.
I don't think they were expecting the Packers to spread the field on 3rd and 1.
The Green Bay Packers have not been shut out twice in a season in this stadium. They were shut out by the Bears week 1. 3rd and 1. Rodgers throws, and that's broken up by Mike Vrabel, intended for Bubba Franks.
I'll tell you something that's pretty doggone impressive. 28-0 at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and I don't see an empty seat anywhere here at Lambeau Field. I'm not sure that happens in most NFL stadiums.
You're right. So on 4th and 1, John Ryan will kick for the 8th time today. Kevin Falk from his 17 and not much further forward to the 20. That's where Brady and the Patriots will go back to work, and we'll remind you coming up next. Peyton Manning and the unbeaten Indianapolis Colts bring their A game to Big D. They'll battle T.O. and the Dallas Cowboys here on the home of Super Bowl 41, CBS Sports. What's your opinion, Mr. Deerdorf? Can Peyton Manning take the Colts to an undefeated season?
Odds are against them because, again, they'll be faced with a dilemma if they get to that point. The last couple of weeks of the season, do you rest your guys and get ready for the playoffs?
Tony Dungy has said he will.
Yeah. I think this is a real this is a formidable team they're going to play today in Dallas. I don't think anyone should be surprised if Dallas beats Indianapolis today.
On first down, Corey Dillon goes nowhere, and just a couple of minutes ago, Brett Favre left the field once again. Start of the day, we saw Brett emerge from that tunnel, and the way he trotted back up, it's doubtful now that I'd be surprised if we saw him again the rest of the day.
Oh, I agree with you. I think that pretty much sealed the deal there.
2nd and 11 for Brady. Running out of time, and he lost the football. It's free, still free, and it appears the Patriots covered it at the 23.
How many opportunities did Green Bay they got a good look at the football. Their coach can't believe it. The ball is just lying there on the ground and nobody's able to make a play on it. Look at that. There it goes. It looked like it was going to be recovered by Matt Light. He didn't get a shot at it. Keeps rolling around. Finally, Dan Cope in the center is able to get on top of it.
Tom Brady, if you're somebody with a beard, please fall on that for me.
Well, that pretty much encompasses everybody up front for him.
3rd and 8 now. And a timeout. Green Bay calls the timeout. 13:20 to play, 4th quarter. Patriots 28 with the beards, and the clean-shaven Packers nothing. The Hunters straight from the woods to the stadium. 3rd and 8.
Greg, those were girls.
Yes, I know. With Huntress? Should I have said Huntress? Brady with time throws another fine pitch and catch. Ben Watson on the receiving end again, out of bounds at the 36 and a 1st down.
And A.J. Hawk was running right with Benjamin Watson. I don't think that Hawk is used to running with a guy like this, and you know, it's just a perfect pass. That's the only way he gets beat, is right over to the outside shoulder, to the sideline shoulder. The perfect toss by Tom Brady, who has been really, really sharp today.
All right, so for those of you watching the contest between New England and Green Bay, New England comfortably in control. We'll take you to a much more competitive contest, Cincinnati at New Orleans. Let's join Dick Enberg and Randy Cross.
And we welcome those of you watching NFL action on CBS elsewhere. We're at the Louisiana Superdome in downtown New Orleans along the Mississippi. Dick Enberg and Randy Cross. Bengals have just scored on a long 60-yard touchdown by Chad Johnson. It started with a Carson Palmer to Chad Johnson 41-yard touchdown play, and the Bengals led 7-0. The New Orleans Saints quickly countered in their first possession. It was Drew Brees to Joe Horn, this one for 72 yards. And the game was tied at 7. And then 3 end zone interceptions, 2 by the Bengal defense and 1 by the Saints defense, denying scoring. And it was tied on a couple of field goals at 10 until just moments ago when Chad Johnson, a 60-yard touchdown catch to give the Bengals the lead.
Men of the square table. Is it cool for men?
And 4 touchdowns coming into this one to lead Cincinnati. A couple more scores against the Saints. And the Bengals have the lead as Drew Brees unwinds incomplete to Deuce McAllister in the left flat. And Chad Johnson, as he scored the last touchdown, pulling up. He's been bothered by cramps all season long. This is the last touchdown on the ad lib as Palmer scrambling to get away from pressure, and Johnson waved to him and then waved goodbye to the Saints defense.
Well, we talked about Rashad Genty too, who's down with cramps, Dick. It bears mentioning during the week it was in the low 40s, rainy and windy, and the Bengals don't have a dome to practice in, so they're not exactly used to these kind of temperatures and these kind of conditions.
Brady's on 2nd and 10, hands it off inside. And it's Reggie Bush, the heralded rookie out of Southern California, who has been held in check as a runner most of this season. He's had 53 catches to be the leading receiver as a running back in the league. 51 yards rushing today. And here's the NFC South with New Orleans a 1-game advantage over Atlanta and Carolina. Those two teams had the lead early in the second half, and you'll see the scores come through. Carolina currently, you can see 13-0 in front.
And it seems funny, but you want to shut down the Saints run, and you want to make Drew Brees right now beat you throwing the ball, even though he has 325 yards so far through about 3 quarters.
2 end zone interceptions denying the Saints. Boy, that was a tough throw to Reggie Bush, stretching out, but will come up short on 3rd down at the 35-yard line in the arms of Landon Johnson. Brees fortunate to get that shot put pass away under pressure.
Now this sets up a perfect situation for the Cincinnati Bengals and Carson Palmer. We talked about Bob Bratkowski, their offensive coordinator, now calling all the plays. You don't want to do the no huddle. You want to stay in the huddle, and you want to wear down the clock here for Carson Palmer with Rudy Johnson.
The punt by Weatherford to Kewan Ratliff, former Florida star, immediately covered as he crosses the 25-yard line, and we have a timeout. 8:45 remaining in the 4th quarter here in New Orleans. Dallas next in our back-up game on our CBS doubleheader. Stay tuned. On the home of Super Bowl 41, and Kewan Ratliff gingerly leaving the field. Another injured Bengal. Word on Chad Johnson, hamstring, probable. Rashad Genty, the linebacker, cramps, and his return is probable. Bengals with a lead, start at the 26, and it's Rudy Johnson. He complements the passing game, and there he is down the sidelines, fumbles the ball, but it goes out of bounds in possession of the Bengals. Fred Thomas ripping it out on the behind the back tackle, but the Bengals maintain possession out near midfield.
That is a high. Remember, you always hear the term high and tight. Why do you hold it high and tight? Because when it's low and tight, you can get a punch from the backside. They can knock it out. If you got it high and tight against your armpit, that can't happen. Nice defensive play by Fred Thomas.
But a solid run by Rudy Johnson, who is approaching the 100-yard mark on the game. 93 for him. Fake to Johnson. Deep throw by Palmer for Chad Johnson. He's got it again and tackled inside the 5-yard line. Very nearly the trifecta for Chad Johnson. I guess that hamstring's okay. Fred Thomas beaten again.
Yeah, when it happened in re-entry on that touchdown, you had to think it was a little bit of a tweak and a cramp, and they stretched him on the sideline, and Carson Palmer promptly stretches him on the field. That's God-given. It's a nice throw by Carson Palmer, but Chad Johnson was born with that ability to spread his body out like that and get the ball.
Willie Mays catch. Over the shoulder, running away. First and goal. Palmer throws to Chad Johnson, and it is a touchdown. Johnson rolling in the end zone with his 3rd score of the day. What a back-to-back games by Chad Johnson. Is that Pro Bowl stuff last week? The Cincinnati record, 260 yards and 2 touchdowns. And today, 6 catches, 190 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And for the first time today, a team gets in the goal-to-goal situation and takes advantage. That was concentration, but that was also an example like Manning and Harrison. Palmer and Johnson spent a lot of time practicing exactly what you just saw.
So catches of 41 of 60 and 48, and then the 4-yard touchdown catch to give Cincinnati now a 2-touchdown lead, 24-10 at the midpoint of this 4th quarter.
Well, what great timing by the Cincinnati Bengals. Marvin Lewis needed his offense to go out there and just make their point, establish their dominance. Normally you do that on the ground, and it started on the ground, but here's the play. This is like Giants and the Cleveland Indians in the World Series. Over the shoulder.
Watch out, big words.
Just a perfect catch by Chad Johnson. He goes to that much effort. How do you reward him? You jam it in there, he catches it, and takes advantage again of Fred Thomas with great body position.
How about that for the totals in the 2 games with that catch? 450 yards in 2 games and 5 touchdowns for Chad Johnson.
Do you like his chances of going back to the Pro Bowl? And if you thought he wouldn't lead the league again in receiving, I'd revise your opinion.
He can talk the talk, but he has, even with a limp, walked the walk.
Part of this, I'm willing to bet you, Dick, is about that practice all week long in drizzly conditions. It's been wet, it was cold, they don't have a dome, and his shoulder's a little bit aching there from that fall.
And that collision in the end zone with a 4-yard touchdown catch. So the Bengals now for the first time with the luxury of a 2-touchdown lead, but remember they didn't hold on to a 3-touchdown lead in the second half last week as Michael Lewis storms out to the 26-yard line for the New Orleans Saints. And a reminder, tonight on 60 Minutes, football featured. Broadway Joe Namath will tell the story of his life in football on and off the field. That'll be followed by new episodes of The Amazing Race, Cold Case, and Without a Trace tonight on CBS, America's #1 network.
And that's after that great Colts-Cowboys game coming up next. And then hopefully T.O. can watch Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne and learn how you're supposed to act as a professional receiver. Maybe he'll learn something.
You talk with superlatives about Chad Johnson, but how about the man who's throwing him the ball, Carson Palmer? Reeves underneath. He has the completion short out to the 33-yard line. Terrence Copper Again, Marcus Colston, the sterling rookie receiver from Hofstra, who leads the Saints with 54 catches, leads the league in yards. The rookie injured in the first quarter today, so others have had to pick up the slack. And here's Reggie Bush looking for that block that can clear him in the open field. It doesn't happen, but he does have the first down. And Medeo Williams makes the tackle.
And Marcus Colston couldn't do anything about this injury. He was blocking, and everybody ran right into the back of his ankle, sprained his ankle. That was a nice play by Reggie Bush. We've been talking about his ability to cut back and look for the holes inside. Perfect example of getting out of bounds and stopping the clock, saving some time.
On first down, Breeze underneath. It's Bush to the 50 and into Cincinnati territory with a gain of 7-8 yards. Clock running, though, and that becomes the enemy of the home team. 6.5 minutes to go.
And if you just joined us and you saw that nice quick drive by the Bengals, don't forget the Saints came into this game leading the NFL in passing, and Breeze is having one of his career days.
Well over 300 as he throws this one on. It's intercepted. Great timing, and here comes the rookie. It is Ethan Kilmer. Kilmer's first ever interception in the NFL, the rookie from Penn State, and he takes it all away for a touchdown. Oh my.
Well, I talked about the body position of Chad Johnson on his touchdown. That was excellent body position and defensive positioning by Ethan Kilmer. You know, the last few weeks, Marvin Lewis has been playing with the idea of maybe Kilmer taking some reps at wide receiver because they had a few injuries and whatnot. He said, look, we're going to take this kid, we'll put him over there on defense full time, let him concentrate on the defensive side and see what he can do.
You know, he didn't even play high school football. He was a basketball star in a small town, valley town in Pennsylvania. Well, that's like reading that cross-court pass and darting in front. He takes it for the touchdown, 52 yards. Extra point by Shane Graham. And the Bengals now have a seemingly unsurmountable 31-10 lead. Ethan Kilmer, how about that for breaking in your first NFL interception?
Yeah, I mean, people ask you, well, so how many times have you touched the ball in the NFL? You're a player? Just once.
What'd you do?
Got a touchdown. Not a big deal. You know, actually, it was pretty easy. Had nothing but green grass, and all I had to do was outrun a quarterback.
Yeah, for Drew Brees, trying to make the tackle. He was intercepted here at the Superdome twice for touchdowns by the Baltimore Ravens, so that's 3 going the other way in the last 3 games.
Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. You've lost 3 games now. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati, all AFC North opponents, and all because you did not take care of the football.
You can add a fumble by Terrence Copper to the 3 interceptions, so 4 takeaways by the Bengals today, and 2 interceptions in the end zone, and then another interception going for a touchdown. Can't get much worse than that.
That's like taking 10 or 14 points off the board. I'm an offensive guy, so I always assume you're going to get the touchdowns there.
The Bengals have struck, led by Chad Johnson's receptions, 3 touchdowns in the last 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And Lewis will concede to the touchback. Let's go back to the information we showed you at halftime and how the turnovers relate to instant defeat.
Well, here in this game it was 14 points. In this game it was 14 points. And today in Cincinnati it's been 14 points. So it's you know, it was that interception by
what was that? Was that a 14 that you were writing on there?
That was a 14, yeah.
Was that Old English or?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
I was a monk in another life. I used to transcribe Bibles and.
Yeah, they called you a monk, all right, as an all-pro lineman. There's Breeze, has a man open. Stecker on the sidelines, and the long throw to the 48-yard line with Jonathan Joseph, the rookie corner, covering.
So you like that calligraphy, huh?
Well, I knew what it was.
Well, see, now Jonathan Joseph, you know you're being ignored when no one even looks at you. You know, when they don't think you're much of a receiver, they don't even have to look at you. Well, I'd suggest you at least glance Stecker's way.
Just under 6 minutes to go. A 31-10 lead. Breeze in the hurry up to Stecker, and he's bounced out of bounds. They'll reset the play, but the clock will continue to roll. Here are the problems for Breeze. Interception by Mondeo Williams. That was in the first half. And then another fumble by Copper as he fumbled a week ago. And another end zone interception by Case Maharn. And then the killer, the Ethan Kilmer interception for a touchdown. Well, this time Joe Horn with the catch, and he's out of bounds at the 38-yard line right at the sticks. Let's see if this is a first down. Ethan Kilmer covering. They're going to measure. Well, for the Bengals, who came in to New Orleans heavy hard with 5 losses in their last 6 games, and that disastrous defeat to San Diego at home when they led 28-7 in the second half and gave up 42 points to the Chargers, but they've answered here in the fourth quarter.
And luckily for them, they started 3-0 with what looked like the best team in the NFL. Then they went on that current run, and this gets them back to 500. And at 500, they're still in the hunt in that division.
And the wild card picture, as we showed earlier, as the AFC, the wild card theme becomes topical as Denver, San Diego, one of those teams, drops to 7-3. Then it'll be Jacksonville, Jets, Kansas City, Cincinnati. Can they catch either of the Broncos or Chargers going down the stretch? The Bengals have hard work ahead. Their opponents have a combined record of 37-26, so won't be easy for Cincinnati.
And the bad news too for them in the division is Baltimore is leading 24-10 over Atlanta, and that will make them 8-2.
Landon Johnson was in the area for Cincinnati, and referee Tony Correndi says, I don't see any eligible receiver. And Drew Brees, you were trying to avoid the sack, and he tossed the flag. Now the consultation.
Remember the last time he did that, it went right over Reggie Bush's head.
There is no penalty for intentional grounding, as the pass is intended for number 25, and the contact by the defender affected the throwing motion. Second down.
Well, Brees ducked one there.
And the contact affecting the throwing motion is centrifugal force being thrown back to the field as you're trying to scoop that thing out in the general direction of Reggie Bush. That's a nice way to keep the clock running.
Second down and 10 with 5:20 to go. Brees needs a big one in a hurry. To the sidelines again to Stecker. Stecker pinned at the 31-yard line, short of the first down by Joseph and Kilmer. There's 2 rookies playing in that secondary for the banged-up Bengals. Joseph and Kilmer, and both have contributed heartily in the effort in the second half.
I don't know, Dick. I'd be careful if I was Cincinnati. If I gave up 42.5, there's no reason to say you couldn't give up 21 in 5 minutes if you really relax here. You got to keep coming after Brees.
Brees underneath. Gets it to Reggie Bush. That'll be enough for a first down at the 27. Caleb Miller, who made his first start today for the Bengals at middle linebacker. That was a move Marvin Lewis talked about with us, and he likes Miller, and Miller has produced. He's got to be close to double figures in tackles today at Arkansas in his 3rd season. First down play for Brees down the middle, complete. This is to Copper for a touchdown. Terrence Copper, his 2nd score of the season.
And in case you're curious, yes, you kick an extra point here, and yes, you kick an onside kick right after that. You cannot afford to give Cincinnati back the ball the way your defense is playing.
We started today by saying the way these 2 teams have scored and the trouble they've had on defense, that it would probably take 30 points to win it. And we have a 31-16 lead with 4:21 to go. New Orleans has all 3 of its timeouts left.
It was a nice job on a very soft defense, and Copper just made something happen. That was all on effort.
Carney does it. Smothered. You could see breaking in was Jonathan Joseph, untouched, and he easily blocked the extra point. Boy, that doesn't happen very often in the NFL. A blocked extra point. Carney said, where did he come from? So it's 31-16, and that deepens the mystery on the New Orleans sidelines.
I tell you, he comes from the outside on the left, comes right around the side. You know, I don't know if that was even unblocked. A guy should not be able to get there. And Terrence Copper runs like he's unblocked. And look at the end. All the defensive backs are in the perfect positions. He just makes the play in between Case Fajarn and James to get into the end zone. Decides to exit stage right and dive into there for 6 points. That was an excellent job by Terrence Copper.
80 yards in 7 plays with a touchdown worth 27 yards from Breeze to Copper. And now they line up for the kickoff.
The hands team is on the field for Cincinnati.
And they'll have 10 men up between the 40 and 50 yard line on the Saints half of the field and just 1 man back to return.
Actually, the hands team is normally wide receivers and defensive backs and running backs and people you're very confident, you know, can catch the ball. And a kicker will look for any grouping of little non-ball handlers he can find.
6 on the left side and 4 on the near side. The left foot kick is a little chip shot, and it's a free ball, but covering it was Reggie Kelly as he is able to dive on it at the 39-yard line. So Carney uses the left foot and just tries to punch a little floater over that front 10.
Well, I imagine if you can pooch a punt, you can pooch a kickoff.
But Kelly, man on the spot for Cincinnati.
Now you look at Cincinnati. New Orleans has 2 timeouts. There's 4 minutes and 18 seconds left. You're going to see a lot of running plays, and they're just going to try to kill as much of this clock as possible. A couple first downs here, and this game will be over.
Hand off to Rudy Johnson, hit in the backfield and dropped for a yard loss. Good penetration from Omar Stottmeyer out from a safety spot. Charles Grant was first in the backfield.
And a quick timeout by the Saints.
And checking the official count now, they have 1 timeout left, New Orleans. Home Depot SEC on CBS heats up over the holiday weekend. Starting Friday 2:30, you'll see LSU and Arkansas. Then Saturday, a 3:30 game for the bragging rights of Georgia. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and the Bulldogs of Georgia. 3:30 on Saturday Eastern Time.
So I guess everybody that liked that Ohio State-Michigan game last night, so everyone in the state of Michigan, everybody in the state of Indiana, and it seems like the better part of the U.S. wants to see another game like that, so everybody's a Notre Dame fan now.
Certainly.
Hoping they'll knock the Trojans off so you can see another one of those games.
I know a lot of Irish folks.
But that's just general principle. They always want to beat NC.
Well, but you know your alma mater UCLA is waiting for USC as well. Kenny Watkins. No, it's Rudy Johnson around the corner to the 40, but he goes out of bounds, and that is a break for the Saints.
Oh, why do you go out of bounds there? I mean, literally, you want to fall down. It's very unceremonious looking. It's not very graceful looking, but you get out on the edge, you get just past the numbers, and you take a seat. Keep that clock moving and make them call another timeout.
Josh Bullock's made sure he went out of bounds at the 40. It's 3rd down and 9. Clock stopped with 4:07. Back to Rudy Johnson. Breaks the tackles and fights his way for a 1st down. What an effort by Rudy Johnson as he's over the 100-yard mark today, and that was a play in which he was stopped twice. 2 different tacklers had him before the 1st down.
And a good idea he did. His coach Marvin Lewis was not real happy on the sideline. So now it's one of those good news, bad news is. The bad news is I went out of bounds, but hey, coach, I fought through and I got you a 1st down.
Just across the 50-yard line. Omar Stottmeyer was up early to make the hit and was shredded by Rudy Johnson, who now has 104 yards in the game. So Chad Johnson, Rudy Johnson, the 1-2 punch for the Bengals offensively again. Right back to Rudy Johnson. And as we mentioned earlier, named after the great Muhammad Ali, Rudy Ali Johnson. He's jabbing away at that defense. He said he even studied the films of the great champion to see if he couldn't use some of that footwork and hand speed in his own game.
And that weight loss has really helped him. And they're going to need that running. Don't be fooled as you look down the rest of this schedule, Dick.
Yeah, look at Baltimore, tough opponent. Indianapolis, we'll see them against Dallas in a few minutes, unbeaten, and the Denver Broncos. So there's some tough opponents ahead for the Bengals.
The key really for that game coming up next, and you got to see Dallas and the Colts, and the key there to me is Julius Jones, because everyone's sort of taking the game to another level, kind of running the ball, minimizing the possessions of Peyton Manning in that offense, and the guy to do that for the Cowboys is going to be Julius Jones. It ain't going to be about Tony Romo. It's going to be about that running game.
Bengals with a victory. They get to 5-5, and for the Saints coming to earth, apparently will have lost their third of the last 4 encounters as Rudy Johnson the call again. Mark Semino finishing the job after Shanley got a piece of him early. How about Chad Johnson? Yeah, he's that clever guy with the lips, but boy, can he make the plays on the field as well.
260 yards last week. Career high in catches, career high in yards. Was he quiet the next week? He was pretty loud, pretty loud. 2 long touchdowns. He had a drop or so, but I tell you, when they really, really needed him, man, was he there. He was the definition of that Pro Bowl, All-Pro receiver.
And of the old AFL long ball player to get deep, get open, and make the big play as Shanley leads a defensive surge on Rudy Johnson.
And now is Chad out of dances? Because he caught the first one and made a little thing, and then ever since then he's actually acted like he's been there before.
I like the hamstring pull. That was a clever little.
I like that. See the catch?
What was that?
Somebody threw him like a candy bar or something.
He almost put the fake on all of us. I think that hamstring pull said, "Oh, I can't run." And then it comes in.
I couldn't possibly go long again. Could I?
Oops! Who's that deep? 85. 4th down here, and Michael Lewis back as Kyle Larson to punt. 2 minutes to go. Saints are out of timeouts. And a flag.
There's a motion on the punt team.
False start. Offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
And a harmless 5 marked off.
Tony Stewart, that left up back. What it really does is now you can actually bomb this thing away. You're not really kind of pooching it away. If you let Reggie Bush touch this, you need to have your head examined, even whether it's Bush or Michael Lewis.
Very, very high, not that deep. So the fair catch called for by Michael Lewis at about the 17-yard line. Well, Randy's crosstalk at the start of the game. Let's see how that materialized.
Well, it actually came out fairly well. I mean, the Bengals did what they were supposed to do. Second half, they closed this deal. Since Saints did not collapse the pocket on Carson Palmer as much as they needed to, and they did not control the clock in the line of scrimmage, because Rudy Johnson was able to dominate a lot of time with that running game.
111 of the 119 yards rushing to Rudy Johnson. Indianapolis and Dallas waiting. Second half of our doubleheader on CBS. Stay with us, and of course JB and the guys back in New York will keep you abreast of all the other action and top plays. Breeze underneath to Reggie Bush. Good fake out to the 30. A gain of about 13, and that is going to establish a new passing record here in New Orleans. Drew Brees has thrown for 449 yards. He breaks Aaron Brooks' mark by a few yards with that throw. But for Brees, who has been intercepted 3 times, 2 in the end zone by the Bengals, and another that went for a touchdown, it's been a tough day for him. He throws deep here, and it's Henderson again with a catch. Devery Henderson almost matching his entire season total with 9 catches today and 169 yards. He came in with only 11 receptions.
And as so often happens, we had the stat up early about career bests for quarterbacks. How often do you see career best come on days you have to throw, you're behind, and your team usually loses the game?
Brees has a chance for a 500-yard game here. Down by a couple of scores against a loose defense. He throws underneath this time to Billy Miller. The tight end has his first reception of the day, short yardage to the 46-yard line.
Well, Dick, when you've run for almost 100 yards and you've almost passed for 500 yards, you've got to do something pretty considerable to screw that day up. And the Saints have. 2 interceptions in the end zone, an interception returned for a touchdown, another fumble by a receiver. I mean, it's a classic formula.
Breeze throws complete to Miller again. The tight end spun around, but he'll still have the first down, although he's pushed back. Kevin Case-Faharn makes the tackle. Breeze will hurry him to the line of scrimmage. The clock running under 1 minute to go. Doesn't down the ball as his team set 481 yards now passing for Drew Brees. Gathers appeared to be offside the defensive end. A couple of flags are down as Brees throws a leaping try, and Devery Henderson knocked out of bounds by Amadeo Williams.
It's going to be an offsides and it's going to be a hold, so it's going to be offsetting penalties.
Clock stopped at 33 seconds.
And it was in the same battle.
Offside, defense number 91. Holding, offense. By rule, these penalties will offset. Replay, first down.
The New Orleans Saints, as we look ahead, and it's a little easier path than that facing the Cincinnati Bengals. Carolina, you see they're 6-4 with a victory today, so they will move into a share of first place in the NFC South with the New Orleans Saints. 33 ticks left on the clock, and Breeze looks for something deep. Instead has decided to try himself underneath for Reggie Bush to the 30-yard line. Tackled by Andre Frazier.
You know, people always ask, at the end of a game like this, what are these guys doing? Why are they trying so hard? I mean, they're down by 15 points. Everybody in that offense, I guarantee you, in their career has been part of a game that has been won in these situations late.
Breeze needs 11 to get 500. He's over the 500 mark as he hits Terrence Copper down at the 10-yard line, and that will be.
All right, folks, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, the final seconds as join the announcers Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker.
With 3 seconds to go, and he's at the 21. Well, here you go, Gus. A 21-yard pass for the end zone is the Browns' last hope to win this football game. And you'll see here a minute, right at the end of the first half, the Browns had an opportunity right in the end zone as Braylon Edwards jumps up, tips it to himself, and almost pulls this down, but can't. So here we go. First down. 3 seconds to go. Juravicius and Edwards to the far side. Edwards is in the slot. Cribbs at the bottom of your screen. Fry in the gun. Here's Charlie Fry. Steps up in the pocket. Lets it go. It is! Oh, wow! He almost did it. And that's your ball game. Edwards just couldn't haul it in. Trying to keep it alive desperately in the back of the end zone. Juravicius, Edwards. Juravicius jumps up. It's not touched by Juravicius. Edwards has it there, and it just gets tipped away too far to pull it down. 24-20.
What a game indeed.